and how often they play it. 16 wins to 5 losses in the last 3 months for Endpoint.
Some insane stat numbers. I mean, aTTaX have played less maps and they've lost it a few more times, but they have had some history on this map. In particular, a while ago, they had a matchup that went to the favor of Endpoint over in Blast Rising in the last few months. Before that, they actually played it all the way back at ESCA Advanced, so they've had a bit of history that goes back quite a number of months. Yeah, very, very long time ago, back in April. And both of those maps were the double digits. 16-12 to Endpoint and 16-10 to aTTaX from the earliest to the oldest matchup. So, yes, Endpoint should be in for a bit of a hard graft regardless. They start things off on a CT Cyan as per their choice. And a quick reminder as well that Malta Vibes is brought to you by Gaming Malta, our home of gaming excellence here, Dweg. Let's go for some predictions. I know I said I wasn't going to press you in the early part of the series, but now that we've got a little bit of a little bit of an anchor to see where these two teams are at, how do we feel about this?
Yeah, look, I'm going to go certainly the Endpoint side, off the basis of what I saw in that last map, off the basis of how strong of an Inferno team the Endpoint side are. I'm not even going to give double digits up for the old aTTaX side. I'm going to go for like a 16-8, 16-9. I'm going to lock in 16-9. That's what I'm going to go for, Jay.
I'm still going to go 16-10 here for Endpoint.
Of course you are. Yeah.
They are the favourites in this one. And so do the odds of loot bet say the same. Of course, if you want to take a bet, now is your last chance to do so here at the start of this map up. Of course, 10 free CSGO spins and up to €100 on your deposit by clicking the banner under the Twitch channel. As aTTaX get things started, no utility, straight aggression coming through. The crossfire from the pistols are set. Thomas with 2 headshots. MightyMax sees 2 more players coming out. 1 player lurking back at the apartments. The CTs will be guessing where he's at. And they can wrap their way in towards the B bomb site from here. They're also pressed towards long, so a wraparound could be ill-advised, but MightyMax will still end up falling. 3 versus 3, and the backstab dealt with by Crucial. Surreal goes falling in trade. Crucial still looking for another good kill. He can't quite line up the headshot on Stefan, and it's all left to Robin now. USP against 2, hearing those footsteps could catch the likes of Mir bit, but he couldn't get the headshot. He gets himself out of dodge and can secure the plant from here. Robin going to face it against Stefan. He hears those footsteps, and Stefan shuts it down. A 4K for him to open up the round for aTTaX.
And what we actually saw in the position where aTTaX, they kind of got shut down from Thomas, trying to split into that B bomb side. They actually tried to make Endpoint make the mistakes. They slowed it right down, and Endpoint were like, okay, they're wrapping B, so let's rotate Robin over, but do we need to stay at A? And it seemed like for Endpoint, they were second-guessing themselves. They weren't sure what exactly to do, and what exactly aTTaX were trying to do. And for the T side, all they did was just stand their ground. They waited for mistakes to come through. And that's a great pistol round coming the way of the German side. Look at the HE damage. Crucial down to just 5 points of health.
And that's not a good start here for Endpoint on the force buy. I mean, it's not a good start for them in general in this CT half. But, you know, pistols and everything, they've been pretty poor with pistol performance in this series, but they've still been able to turn some pretty decent matches and maps to their favor. He flashes over from the T side camp. He smokes down Arch, and from library position, MightyMax here with the Deagle. Close range, hearing a lot of footsteps. Will he swing out and try and take him down? They should be able to read onto his position. Falls back out. He's not going to be able to get the denial here. He may be able to get them if they go back towards Speedway and wrap back into the CT spawn, but they're playing very carefully about this. They will start to push.
Ooh, MightyMax, unfortunately with the timing, I mean, he'll keep an eye out in the back, but he's going to hear these footsteps at least, rely that over to his teammates. The Deagle doesn't find a couple of kills. Great hold coming out from MightyMax, and even with Crucial low, Endpoint are in a very good position.
4-on-3 situation. Thomas back here towards Tree. Someone's got to check this corner, and Mirbit will, but Thomas swang out, got the dink down on him, so he's low HP. Look at Surreal and co. They're all making their way in from mid. Chris has got them on a lock with the MAC-10 spray. He doesn't get anything out of it. Only a little bit of damage done to Surreal here in a 3 versus 2 now, and the CT's putting the Molotovs on site. The flash is going over. The AK knows where they're going to be coming from. They have the info to work with. And Crucial spotted and sprayed. Robin making his way up as Mirbit goes down. Stefan going to get overwhelmed by Robin. And well, their pistol victories might not be so consistent. Their force buys, however, have been all the rage.
Oh, they certainly have. That's an excellent round coming out from Endpoint. A great start coming out from Mighty Max to be able to isolate 2 kills out from the library position. And from there, it's just a numbers game. They swing out from Banana. They have that 3-on-2 advantage. The mollies come in, the flashes, the crossfires being set. And while for alternate attacks, at least getting a bomb plant doesn't mean they have to force. They can opt to try and just get the Glocks out and buy into the next round. But it is going to be the forced investment to come through. A Mac 10s, maybe some Tech 9s. It's going to be a rough buy. It certainly is.
Yeah, heavy investment from alternate attacks. And again, Endpoint. There's one thing better than winning the pistol. It's winning the conversion force buy after the fact. Establish yourselves and shut your opponents down. Make them lose out on the loss bonus that they would otherwise be entitled to had they lost on the pistol. Incendiary's out. Mac 10 from Cressy deals with Crucial, takes no damage for it. M4 recover them, make their way back towards Speedway. Again, 2 CTs here to defend it, and both players are going to focus when it's actually a split in from Speedway and from the Banana position. 2 kills come back from Cressy, and it looks like the fate of the Endpoint return is going to get returned right back by alternate attacks.
And, well, that's Endpoint losing to a force buy. And I'll tell you what, we haven't really seen it too often in the grand final. We certainly did see it come up, I would say, very often in the semis, but that's probably one of the first times we've seen Endpoint lose to a round where it's just a force bite. And you've got to think, Cressy, I mean, how does he get away with 3 kills? Not even a trade comes out. And Cyril and Robin, yes, they can bring a couple of AKs into the next round, but it means that it's going to have to be a reforce investment to come out for the CT side.
Second round to the board of alternate attacks. Endpoint ideally should have had this one on the wraps, but not to be for this one. A lead being regained by the T-side camp. So, I mean, if there's one thing that's even better than winning a pistol, it's winning the conversion. If there's one thing worse than that, it's losing the follow-up reforce back from the T-side. So,
and then you just keep going back and forward from there.
I mean, that's what you call a war of attrition.
Yeah.
At that point, it's all just lost control. So, Endpoint. 2 AK save from the last round. The force back, we'll see the Deagles coming through. Surreal and Robin also brought heavy into this one, so I imagine they probably dropped some of those pistols and got the utility out for their own right. These 2 AKs need to be the centerpiece of the defensive, and well, you can see Surreal already looking for that opening kill. Didn't do much damage though.
It's kind of good intent though from Endpoint, the fact that they're actually looking to find kills rather than just playing deep into the sights and backing up those pistols with the AKs. One thing alternate attacks have done in round 4, though, at least a pretty good job of taking a fair bit of map control over towards Banana. Now, they are at least going to rotate a 3rd player over. Resmoke could come down from Crucial to buy a little bit more time of when the execution comes through. But already, the T's are just too quick.
Well, Stefan and Skrunk, 2 quick frags. 5-on-3 situation, and the AKs are very foul passive in this one. Robin does not want to take face. They'll take blind sprays from back over at the CT spawn, but you can see Surreal's back at the apartments and on short. He is not going to bother with this one, and so are the rest of the CTs. They're going to fall back, save their AK, and you can see alternate attacks quickly in hunting positions. They're expecting the CTs to be pushed up aggressive towards mid. Not even going to go for exit frag because they realize how much they could lose here if alternate attacks are able to take them down. So 3rd to the board of the T side, and it probably should end up being a 4-1 with the oncoming eco that Endpoint will have to take. Of course, forcing back in this one. 2nd round loss bonus should lead to a buy up in the following round.
And things are looking pretty good at the moment, to say the least, for the alternate attack side. We're going up 3-1, like you said, Jay. Potentially 4-1. And you've got to think, considering it's the 3rd map of the series, the pressure's on. This could be a great opportunity for them if they can start to stretch this lead. If they can get some momentum going on the T side. I mean, they haven't even got the AWP out for Slacks yet. He hasn't even got a kill yet, and they're already winning rounds. It could really put the hurt onto the Endpoint lineup. What do they do in terms of the AKs? That's what I'm thinking about in this round from Endpoint, because really, you want to do damage, but you also kind of want to keep them in play for the following round.
Now he's on doing damage from the Endpoint camp here. Oh, but the AK swung in by Stefan. The timing could not have been more perfect, and that's a free AK for him as well. Don't need to worry too much about it for alternate attacks because they can buy AKs whenever they want here, assuming they have the money for it. The stack into the B-bomb site. Has already lost its first man. Probably going to lose a lot more from here on out. Alternate attacks playing passive to try and bait in and take down anybody else that may look to peek.
And it's gone really quiet now for the T side. They found that opening pick. They've slowed it right down. They're starting to work the map a little bit. And just a B fake coming out from Scrunk using a little bit of utility. We're seeing if he can find anything. It's actually a cross smoke for the front of the site. This UMP can find a couple more kills, but straight away, that gives the information away that the stack's there, and there's a free bomb site coming out for the Ts.
Yeah, bomb plant was secured here. The best bet for Endpoint is to grab that, grab the weapon that Scrunk had. I believe he may have had an AK. I'll grab the FAMAS in from the banana position. That also works pretty well. And keep the AK and the FAMAS in check. And force to the T-side board, obviously, to get a couple of free weapons. But again, looking towards the buy is the main thing. If they lose all these rifles here, it's just not a worry at all for the Endpoint camp. Mostly about what they can do after the fact here. But yeah, 4 on the board for alternate attacks, doing well to manage the early few struggles that they've had against Endpoint. The force backs have been a little bit damaging to their state of mind. But right now, being 3 rounds up on the T side, it's a pretty good stance.
It really is. You know, their money line's starting to grow, but we're starting to see a lot of success. And you've got to think for Endpoint, if it doesn't come out in this round, I'd like to see it in the following, a tactical pause. You know, we've been talking about it all day today, of the lack of pauses from Endpoint. But you've got to think, especially when going into Inferno, you won pistol, or you won the anti-eco off losing the pistol, and then have started losing momentum. It's going to be really difficult mentally to try and come back and put up a decent scoreline on the City side. Even for Endpoint, we haven't really seen any heavy presence towards Banana. They haven't really taken Banana control just yet. And just light utility, that's forced Endpoint to play pretty passive a bit.
Molotov's doing damage. I mean, you talk about light utility, but heavy HP. Like, look at Thomas, 47 points to his name. Yeah. And yeah, it's a FAMAS that's getting tagged down here, but, you know, ideally pass that back off to Mighty Max if you can get to him. And make that UMP have the low HP. Rifle back to someone who could potentially do some damage with it. Mighty Max is still going to play on top of the first box here, so Thomas will be stuck with Surreal on the rifles here. 3 players on the B bomb site. Alternate attacks haven't committed. They have taken that banana control. As he has the smoke, Scrunk is just going to look for a frag or two. Mighty Max going to push very aggressive and will pay the price for it.
Oh, that's huge. That's such a big frag coming out from Scrunk. And for the A players, they're not sure. Do we have a gamble stack of B? What's the play here? Yes, there was a bit of damage done to Scrunk, but alternate attacks, they've got the opening advantage. And will they actually use a little bit of utility out towards A with both a long smoke and an apartments lurk? But they're actually grouping up through the B bomb site. There's only 2 players here, but there is an incendiary.
Gonna try hold them for the moment here. Smokes go down. The T's are suppressed for the moment. Surreal with another follow-up HE that could do a ton of damage. He does get overwhelmed. Thomas gets only 1 frag as Mirbit takes him down. Stefan and Scrunk are on double digits of HP, 20 or less. And Crucial and Robin not knowing this, knowing that they have 2 extra players to deal with as well. They're just not even going to bother for this one. Alternate attacks on T's side. This is deadly good.
It really is. That's one way of putting it, because it's looked really simple, honestly. It just hasn't been anything crazy, hasn't been any, like, you know, 400 IQ strats. It's just been very simple. They take a banana control pretty much every round because Endpoint aren't putting a lot of utility towards it. They're doing damage. They get the opening kill onto Scrunk. They use a couple of players towards A. They smoke a couple of set pieces with the smokes. Hold the A players at bay, they execute in, they get some really nice entries, great flashbangs. Pretty simple stuff. 5-1 coming up for the alternate attack side, and you've got to think for Endpoint, what's the call here? What is the change up? I want to see banana presence. I want to see them taking control. They can't keep playing that passive and deep into the sides.
A technical pause to come through here. I wanted to see how aggressive or passive they will play for the moment. Not sure specifically what the issues are. We only had a couple of tech pauses over the course of the day, not during this series, and alternate attacks. And Endpoint will be quickly getting back into control and contention. The M4's out, the AK's, the M4 on Skrunk saved, and the AWP out for Slacks. No AWP for Crucial at this stage. Endpoint, very similar to the earlier series that they play. They're struggling to manage the economy here in Inferno.
And, well, you even look at the buy from Mighty Max. He's being forced onto a UMP, so certainly struggling with the buy, struggling with the economy game. Now, this time around, a bit of a change-up coming out from Endpoint. They're not taking banana control, but at least they're using a little bit more utility, trying to do a bit more damage, and that's a great opening. This was the change-up I wanted to see, to take impact and to take opening stances, and they found an opening pick. Now make it 2.
5-on-3 situation, tees out towards the mid-control. Cressy gonna look to round this corner, Crucial. Gonna back off of his own right here. The incendiary coming through for the man, and Cressy just can't seem to face around this corner, so we're all gonna re-smoke down. Bit of contention out here to the broken wall gap. At the pit position, the AK of Cressy looking to round up and trying to see if he can take Thomas down, but nothing going to be seen by this T-side force. Finally, Slacks gets the real for their opening frag of this round here, 4 versus 3. Robin makes it 2 though, as Slacks drops next. Mere bit here out in the open. Does catch Thomas jumping up, looking for Robin on the bomb site. 4 HP. He's gained a major chance for alternate attacks now.
He's kept them in this round, 2-on-2. This is still very doable for the T side, but it all just comes down to timing. They need to make sure between Cressy and Merbit that they're working off each other's contact, considering how low Merbit is, and the information's already given up on where the CTs are.
Cressy's got to get here close because maybe it's dead, and he does find Mighty Max now. 1-on-1. Crucial knows exactly where this player is. No smoke for the defuse. The flashbangs, sticking it, tapping it once, forcing Cressy to peek forward. He's going to fall away. Back on the defuse once again. Cressy shoulder banging, forcing Crucial off. Crucial gets the kill and just has enough time for the defuse here. He's got the kit. Therefore, he has a second for Endpoints.
And it really seemed like that Cressy was actually going to win out that fight, or at least win out that round. He was doing a really great job of trying to bait out Crucial, but in the end, that may have just been a little bit more of a commitment that was necessary. He could have just kept jiggle peeking rather than trying to swing and take the fight. And Endpoint, realizing the fact that it came down into a 1 versus 1 in the end. And our lovely partners over at Hellcase giving us some fantastic codes to use, Malta V and Malta V15. A little bit of a cash injection and a 15% refill bonus. A great opportunity to get involved with some sick skins while we're in the grand finals, which really is a sick affair. And even with Endpoint, you know, they can't even really be happy they win that round. I mean, they can be happy, but they didn't win it with 3-4 players alive so they could build up the bank.
Got to keep things going here for Endpoint. The lack of a bank is going to force them down to this very awkward scenario here on the UMP and the MP9. Back on the rifles, of course, for alternate attacks. They are loaded. We've got golden guns at this stage with the amount of money that they have. Skrunk and Stefan tagged up very heavy. Incendiary is going to try and force them back. So Endpoint doing whatever they can with what little they've got. The HGs and utility in particular, obviously. Now he's back. Stefan tagged up UMP. Going to flash in. Mighty Max does get Skrunk to kick things off, but Thomas runs straight into the hands of Stefan at the edge of the smoke. Max does get a trade, however. Headshot through the smoke back towards the arch entrance. And Stefan being heard, Max knows that he's close, going to face away from the flashbang, try and get some support in, but Stefan swings in, takes him down. AWP here to respond. Robin's going to see many T-side presence, gets one frag, Incendiary back to try burn them, but falls to a 2-on-2 now. Retake got to come through from the CT side.
And it's going to be a tough one for Surreal because he's only on an MP9. He needs to try and back up Crucial. Slacks aggressing with this AWP. This could be the shot that he's looking for, and into the 1 versus 2 Crucial goes. This is going to be a very difficult clutch to really keep Endpoint in the game in this third map of the series. How does he isolate these fights? He's got a kit, does not have a smoke, Jay.
Quick scope in against Slacks is not going to be enough here. Not quick enough. And that is going to be the rounds returned by alternate attacks. Endpoint, very similar to some of the weaker maps they've had so far today. They just can't seem to catch a break on the CT side.
You know, this is a really slow start, very slow start from Endpoint, and we're looking at a 7-2 score lineup for the alternate attacks boys. And one person in particular who was very quiet in that last series was Stefan. Look at how much work he's finding in terms of opening kills out towards Banana. He's firing up. He's currently on 11 kills, and he's winning them a lot of rounds.
Incendiaries and the Deagles to force back the CT side. Again, it's an eco for Endpoint. A deco for some players, but other players have much more cheaper weapons to work with because that's how low the money line really is, and the lack of money. The economy game being played pretty poorly right now by Endpoint is just going to keep hurting them round after round. Go to save to the lost bonus to stack up, get another buy back in. By that point, alternate attacks will just keep stacking on round. And right now, with 4 rounds to the deficit on CT side here for Endpoint, they picked this half. Really going to be an awkward little time for the CT forces.
Alternate attacks. At the moment, they've got options. They've taken top banana control. They've got a couple of players lurking around the apartment, so they can go A, they can go B. It's up to them. They're running down the clock, getting closer to 40 seconds. It looks like it is going to be an A commitment. Making sure that they're not running the clock too low and making sure they're using their utility to try and force the CTs out into the open. And I'll be looking to see the established crossfires to come out for the Ts.
Well, Skrunk gets surreal. 8 HP traded back for him, though, so the CTs are putting up a bit of a fight. USP for Crucial. We've got Thomas also out here. Face up, Cressy tagged up. Oh, 2 HP, he stays alive. Thomas can find this trade kill. He's right there, but backed up by Mirbit, who responds from the upper position over in the balcony. Mighty Max gets Skrunk, grabs that AK, and now has to fall back here. Same for Robin as soon as he peeks in from long to try and get the exit frag here on the T side. Maybe Mirbit could also give up his life now. Max is going to get out of dodge, so a 7th for alternate attacks. Endpoint, not a bad eco, but again, the issue for them is the round difference right here. They need to get something going on the board.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, it's, you know, you can have impact in terms of ecos and half buys and get a couple of kills here and there, limit the economy, but that only gets you so far. What really gets you far is the amount of rounds you put up on the board, and so far for Endpoint, really not seeing a lot. Alternate attacks are just looking dominant at the moment on the T side. And one thing we haven't quite seen from them yet is something quick. So I'm wondering this following gun round whether we're going to see a bit of a change-up coming out from the in-game leader, whether to say, right, we've been very slow, we've been very methodical. Do we want to change things up and surprise Endpoint, catch them off guard? Or do we want to continue with which is what is working best, which is the slow takes out towards Banana, getting that map control out of the apartments, working together, working picks, slowing down the clock, baiting out utility on the CT side? And I suppose we'll just have to wait for round number 10 to see what kind of call we're going to get out from Skrunk. And you got to think for Crucial, mate, he's got to be firing up. He's got to be the one to get them out of this hole. Him and Thomas, I'm looking at those two guys to be pulling these rounds back.
Yeah, Thomas has had a pretty quiet series so far. It's not just this map. Crucial having a great second map over there, of course, over on Train. But yeah, you're right. Those two players need to stand up right now. The numbers are generally poor on the Endpoint side because they haven't been given much of a chance to do anything against alternate attacks. AKs, the AWP, the M4's coming out for the Endpoint side. Of course, the AK save for Mighty Max, but so limited utility here for the CTs. I don't know how they recover this situation. They've used up the majority of it just to gain the banana control here against the Molotovs and the smokes down. Stefan receiving bullets but not receiving damage, and Endpoint will gain his part of the map. What was that? Oh, Stefan! Somehow predicting it, and they didn't even have much to work with. They conceded it all.
What? I've never... He's going to knife him. No, he's not. I've never seen that before. That was, like... They didn't even use any... This has got to be an instant save for Endpoint. Yeah, they're out of there. So, what we see there is you know, Jay mentions a really good point. The fact that they're using a lot of utility towards Banana, but for alternate attacks, they say, go ahead, take it. Stefan uses, they're not using any utility to fight it. They give it up to the CTs. And well, Stefan, that's insane. I've never seen a double spray down like that through smoke without even any sound cue or anything. And as soon as he gets those couple of kills, they go, right, we can just storm this B bomb site and Endpoint. Straight away, they have to go for the instant save. Mate, that... I'm actually shell-shocked. I've never seen that before.
The timing on that legit could
100%.
not have been worse for Endpoint. Like, the lineup was perfect. I think I know what Stefan was trying to go for there. Hang on, Swank's going to get surreal. Cressy getting crucial.
There we are.
Dead. That is disaster for Endpoint. But I think I know what Stefan was thinking here. He was just going to say, look, I'm going to take a spray through. Maybe I might get a pick or do some damage and then just rotate out to join my teammates because they were all setting up for the A hit. And as soon as that spray came through, it was just like, all right, cool, we'll come to B. Oh, man, that is just... Can it get any worse for Endpoint here? Like,
yeah, it could do.
Their performance
16-2.
Their performance in this last map has been something to behold, and I don't say that in a good way.
Yeah, look, I mean, things like that are unfortunate. We don't see them every day. It's so much of a rarity. I mean, honestly, for Stefan, you know, he's just trying to see if he can go for a better spam, see if he can connect onto anything, just sell a bit of a presence towards top of the bottom of Banana while they make their way in through brackets, and he gets lucky. And for Endpoint, honestly, you know, for a UK side, you know, that honestly could be like a tilt factor. That could be like, right, we really needed that round. We just got spammed. We're now down 8-2. How do we bring this back? We're on a half buy. This is not acceptable. We need to turn this around.
Well, at some point, I have Endpoint take an actual tactical pause, and Ross R steps up like, listen, boys, this is not good enough. And I realise, yeah, they played 2 back-to-back best-of-3 series, but unfortunately, that's the belly of the beast here. You know, Endpoint are no strangers to marathons. They've been to I-Series. You know, anyone who's been to I-Series will know what I'm talking about. The Eagles out for the CT side. They've got an SMG for Mighty Max. 30 seconds to the hit for alternate attacks at the very least. You know, Endpoint will have that little bit of a time bonus, and they get the kill at the right moment. They could potentially steal the round away. Nice nade on Cressy, especially whizzing right past his head. Deagle out for Surreal, drops the first. Thomas drops the opening kill instead, actually. Mearbit peeks out towards the short position, gets that first frag at the T side, but a 3 versus 2 now. Deagle's pressing in. They do deal with Surreal. They do deal with Thomas. Mighty Max gets an SMG, is spraying towards the AWP, turns it to a one-on-one now. And Stefan on the bomb site. Nade to his position, doing a bit of damage. The AK, however, can win out on the firepower and the range game. Mike Max needs to get in close. Re-smokes down. Stefan here towards the boxes. He's going to whack his way out of the smokes in position. The SMG spray through, gets the frag, and Mighty Max steals one away from the T side.
And, well, there you go. You know, unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but, you know, the way Counter-Strike is, Jay, it doesn't always have to be a rifle round, or it doesn't have to be an eco round that wins you success. We see there from Endpoint, and finally they pick up their third. It's been a while since we've seen them win a round, but it's a round nevertheless. Yes, it comes into the one-on-one. Yes, it was a great clutch from Mighty Max. And you've got to think for Endpoint, that's the turning point for me, where Mighty Max says, right, we've come off to a poor start. I've just clutched down insane one-on-one. Now we need to turn it up. Now we need to, you know, continue. We can't just win one and let them continue their presence. Oh, this is a fast take. This is a set piece. They've drilled this before.
Yeah. No, yeah, alternate attacks. If this is correct, this might be the wrap through Speedway. That's what it is. They've done this so far in this matchup, and Surreal's ready for it this time. 2 players dropped, one of which is the bomb. AK's in check. He knows another player also at CT and Speedway, so they can adjust against this. They may be a little bit exposed here on the A bomb site as the smoke start to clear, and the AWP indeed will capitalize on a frag. 1 player left here on the defense. Robin will get scrunked, and Stefan will trade back to a 2-on-2. Thomas and Crucial here to get back to the site, go for a retake here, but again, alternate attacks getting themselves a bomb plant.
Endpoint on for yet another retake. Mighty Max not quite alive this time around, and Stefan, oh, the reposition. This could be such a difficult angle to check, and he's heard all the footsteps. He knows where both of them are coming from. Stefan, 1 versus 2 clutch coming out. Another round for alternate attacks, and just when Endpoint win their third, they can't follow up. They've got no money. What an instant response.
Oh, boys, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
Thomas could not even get him down past half his HP.
Yeah.
I don't know if Stefan was tagged prior to that round, but just... or prior to that post point, I should say. But man, just man. AK's Orps out, and the CT's back up on a forced buy here. Like, they're mentally checked out. Like, they are mentally out of this round and out of this map up, and probably even, maybe, you know, just the half at best. I don't know where you go from here for Endpoint. Like, you know, I understand that, you know, statistically speaking, their T side is the strongest one, but historically against alternate attacks, their best halves are the CT sides, and it's like we're talking about with alternate attacks on train. If they can't get something going in what would theoretically be their worst half, you know, like, how much hope do you have to go and carry us right back to an overtime?
Yeah, look, I mean, Endpoint certainly have not looked on tip-top shape in this last map. You can clearly see it. Just even things like simple protocols of cross-firing sets with one another in early rounds are just not on point, not crisp, and you can't really make the excuse of fatigue or anything like that. I'm not buying it. You know, all these teams face the same circumstances or same conditions. And alternate attacks, you know, they're looking on point at the moment, and Endpoint aren't. You even look at the economy of the utility game for Endpoint, there's hardly any to use. As soon as Crucial use that smoke, they've got nothing. Yes, Surreal's got a flash and a HE, but it's actually going to be a fake to the A bomb site. They're going to go back over to B, and this is, I don't think Endpoint are going to be able to hold on to this round.
UMP here for Thomas will try to get Stefan to drop. He actually does get it, but Cressy responds 3-on-3. Robin's still here towards Church. Cressy going around this corner, knows exactly where this player is, and gets the drive-by pistol shot. 3v2 retake, Crucial does catch me a bit for one good kill. Slacks here with his AWP to respond, going to keep his eyes on position. Surreal does catch Cressy, so it's all left to Slacks. An advantage for Endpoint, but can they make this happen? They've lost clutches against alternate attacks before. The 1v2 from Stefan in the last round in particular. AWP hearing them come forward, missing his shot, and can't get out of dodge. So there you go, a fourth for the CT board here. Can they follow up into 6?
Oh, well, it'd be the first time they follow up a round over on the city side of Inferno. They've only been able to win out singular rounds. And you've got to think there for Endpoint, they've got to be pretty happy with that. That's a really good retake in the 2-on-2, working together, making sure that they're working on each other's contact to wide swing the last player of Slacks. 19 kills to just 5 deaths for Stefan. He's done so much work on the T side. And honestly, Jay, the thing that I'm looking for the most in this round is a repeat of Endpoint with a victory. They need to follow up.
Warp in for Crucial, going to keep his eyes on towards this long wrap around here in this corner plate. The T's won't challenge him. They will just get brackets control, fall back in towards mid position. It's just mid control for all attacks, not much of the banana position either. The CTs will aggress through this. Last time they did this, they got sprayed down by a lineup. A minute and 10 to go, and they do fall back. Mighty Max will burst through, give up his position. Not get any damage or kills for his return, but at least they'll know that at least they'll let them know that there's presence here. Not on attacks. Be a bit careful when they come to peek in.
This is one of the first times we've actually seen a 4A setup coming out from Endpoint. A lot of the time, they haven't even had the opportunity to go for it. They've often just had 2 or 3 even players at B. Now, they have called for a little bit of assistance. Thomas is making his way over. Skrunk's getting a little bit of information, even with him pressed up this aggressively. Do they check the angle? Oh, Skrunk.
Thomas swapping out to the M4 very quickly by getting the kill back on towards that man. Stefan going to adjust against him as he swings out way too wide, and there was 2 players there to receive that man. A 4v3 retake for Endpoint, and it looks like they're going to commit to this one. Smokes are down, nades are out to try and suppress and stall for time against the Endpoint side, and they think twice about this. They're going to save once again. Another round for alternate attacks to return to. I don't think Endpoint have had a single 2 rounds in a row. They've just been...
They haven't?
Yeah, this has not been... And as well as that, I'm just taking a look at the board now. They've all been diffuses. Alternate attacks...
retakes.
Have legitimately been overwhelming. Overwhelming with how they've taken on the board on this T side. The 11-4 is on the table. It's a likely outcome for this half.
No, I'm with you. I really am. That stat point alone that you make, Jay, the fact is that they've won 4 rounds. All of them have been retakes. All of them have been diffusers. Some of them have been even, you know, some really nice clutches. We saw that 1 versus 1 out for Money Max. The 2-on-2 retake over at the B bomb site in the last couple of rounds. But yeah, to be able to only have them singular is just not good enough. And for alternate attacks, if they go 11 rounds up, you'd think that they are just in an absolute driving seat to be able to continue this going forward. The damage out towards Banana this time around actually reaps rewards for the Endpoint side.
Endpoint with a chance now to turn that 5th to their favor. So passive on the control here from the CT camp, and a bit more passively right now from alternate attacks, obviously losing Scrunk. Be careful how they peek up here. M4 of Mighty Max is again going to fire away blind. It gives the info up to the attack squad as they see him facing out wide in the open. Famas there for a trade back on Thomas. The AWP can't get a response. He gets dinked down. M4 getting recovered. A mere bit next to face here with the AK with the bomb on his back. You know that with that bomb on his back, he doesn't really want to give it up to the CT forces. Surreal gets Cressy out the apartments. And 4 versus 2. The first confident round we've seen from Endpoint this entire half, and it comes at the very end of the half, with Meerbit being left alone in a 1 versus 4. 30 seconds to the clock. Surreal's going to put a smoke down. He's now seen, tagged up, think down, taken down. 10-5 to favor the T side.
Okay, that's a good... you say a recovery. I mean, at least it's Endpoint putting up not even a decent amount of rounds, but 5 is... they won't be happy with it, to say the least, but at least they get out of a pretty awkward position because it was, what, 8-2 at one point? So, really, it's at least turning it around, but, I mean, you look at those numbers, look at the difference. Stefan at 21 kills, Cressy on 10, only a single player on double digits for the CT side of Thomas. And we say it time and time again, Jay, it comes down to the pistol. You have to think that if Endpoint don't win the pistol, they're not going to have the momentum to carry forward.
Can you imagine when the fact that they're not readying up early on here in this halftime break, that there is some serious words being exchanged in the Endpoint
I'm sure
camp.
there is. Yeah, I'm sure.
Like, again, just take a look at that stat line. Guys like Crucial, 5 kills on the AWP. Thomas, 11 picks, sure, that's all right, but you consider what they've had on the T side, and, you know, that's only a few ahead of Alexis Scrunk and Meerbit, 1 ahead of Cressy, and 10 behind Stefan on those kill counts. And again, just in general, the coordination, I don't know what to say, just I don't want to say, you know, the level of care being given to Endpoint, because I don't think it's like they don't care about this matchup, but yeah, I can't think of any other sort of word to describe it, to be honest. And it feels like Lootbet tend to agree with me on those respects here. They the odds have shifted, well and truly shifted. Endpoint in deep trouble, and not just because of that number, it's because of the real number at the top of the screen. 10-5. If alternate attacks get a pistol, the pressure's on. Endpoint set to concede in the grand finals.
Look at the util on the
they
CT
get
side.
this round.
There is 5 players with util. I've never seen that. I've never seen that. Everyone's got utility. No one has got armor for the CT side.
Is that
this could be
smart?
interesting. I don't know. I mean, we'll have to try and find out. They've got smokes.
I've never seen a setup like this in my life.
Yeah. And
Like,
it's a gamble stack to the A-bomb site. Yeah.
Not even as a meme have I seen this coming out. And here come the T side. If aTTaX make this work, which they are, Stefan with 2 headshots, Surreal will trade back, Cressy follows suit as Thomas tries to keep alive. He can't get the kill on Slacks, 48 HP, Cressy pressure, bomb's been dropped, Max goes down, Thomas left alone on the bomb site, 2 kills, up for a 4K, Cressy's on 6 HP, he falls, but Skrunk trades it back, and alternate attacks. Didn't even get the chance to use half of their utility. They just got the kills against Endpoint.
Oh, yeah, I was just going to say, they didn't even really get to use much of it. All it came down to was gunfights. Yeah, there was a couple of smokes and flashes, but there was so much more util that unfortunately didn't get used. That was, I suppose, a little bit wild and a little bit crazy, but I suppose that's what we get here at the Malta Vibes. And for Endpoint, no bomb plan going down. They're going to force the issue. 11-5 up for the Germans. And look at the rifles. They've got one. They've got a single for Mast. The MP9s are out. They're looking to make bank.
It will be a bit more difficult than they might be expecting here. They got the head Kevlar on the T-side setups. And a Deagle for Surreal trying to get aggressive here on this one. Slacks is around the corner to the long position. Back over at Arch side. The UMP trying to check out for Skrunk. Minute 2 of the clock here, and it's been very quiet from Endpoint. They know how much they need to win this response. They've been pretty sucky on pistols so far in this series, but they have been great at the response round, so let's see what they can do.
And they've gained a lot of map control at least. They're forcing aTTaX to play pretty deep into the A-bomb site. And honestly, if they use their util right, they can only need to fight a couple of players in this A-bomb site rather than the long commitment of Slacks. Better damage being found. What can the pistols find? Because for the T's, they're trying to make their way into the bomb site, but the flashbang coming out, and Slacks actually gets 2 kills.
Surreal trades back on 1. Deagle out for gets 2 more, but no. Slacks drops a 3 bomb. Cressy here against Surreal, we'll see him drop. He's dead before he hits the floor. The headshot coming out for the FAMAS. Mighty Max does secure the plant, but a 1 versus 3. Pressed in from all angles. Cressy will secure the 2nd kill. And that is going to be a 12th for alternate attacks. A bomb plant that won't mean much for Endpoint. They heavy invested. They force bought. They needed that round to go well, and it didn't.
Yeah, for us at least, Jay, we've had the chance of casting Endpoint, what, 15, 20 times, I'd say, in these last 3 months? Whereas for alternate attacks, I think we've covered them only a handful. Maybe 3 or 4 times at most, even this last week. You know, for us, we've seen the grind. We've seen the progression that Endpoint have made, you know, especially being a part of this, you know, the UK scene. And to see in the grand final that they're getting trumped up against alternate attacks is very inspiring to this German side for me.
I mean, on the flip side, you know, I've obviously been following Endpoint for a very long time, probably since 2016 or so. So, like, you know, just seeing them, like, peter out like this, after such a good match against Forza, after such a good performance over on Train, after a 16-14 barely conceded loss in the first map of this series.
Could have 2-0'd.
A few rounds gone different, and they could have 2-0'd. So yeah, it's inspiring for one side, it's heartbreaking for the other. Tech 9s, Deagles, P250s, HEs, smokes, flashes. You name it, the T's have got it. On a half by round scenario, Surreal will find that first. SMG does only get 1 kill. Crucial, he would have responded to 2 versus 2. Cressy struggles to drop that bomb, but he does get it down in the end. Mighty Max is also there at the edge of the smokes. Flashes away, Cressy up, Thomas gonna combine with Robin to drop him down. 3 on 2 now, Endpoint. Nades on the mid, but he still lines up 1 frag, not quite the 2nd. And Stefan with the SMG will make his way up next up. Flash over in towards short, seeing 1 player, and Robin will take him down. That's the 6th for Endpoint. That's much better. But can they keep it going again? Their main issue has been follow-up rounds.
Absolutely. And you've got to think that was a really great round there from Endpoint. Some great Deagle shots coming out, some great trading ability, and just working their way into the site. Alternate attacks. And they're going to be able to force the issue on their counterpart. Yeah, by the looks of it, it's just pistols for Cressy, Merbit, and Skrunk, where Slacks, he's got that AWP, and, well, we can't find anything with it. It's actually going to be the T-side AWP that starts off cracking early in round number 19.
A bit sing. Oh, ooh. Robin, and dropping him there. The M4 taken back out for the CT camp. Going to repick against Surreal. If he gets this next kill, nade on towards Boiler. That does a number on towards the mat. The Skrunk gets Mighty Max, doubles up against Crucial. Thomas can respond to it. Stefan's still there in bottom mid. Thomas turns around 180 and gets that frag back, but now Mirit's looking for his own bit of aggression. He can catch Thomas off. Indeed he does. The AK is Surreal, responds to it to a 1 versus 1. And where will he go? Towards B, towards A. He's smoked off the mid position. It looks like he's going B. Cressy's got the AWP on lock. He's so ready for this kill. And alternate attacks return the favor. 13-6. Oh, Endpoint. Oh, Endpoint.
To lose a round like that after winning your own is heartbreaking, but it's just the way the cookie crumbles. 6 rounds up for Endpoint, 13 up for the alternate attack side. And you got to think, alternate attacks win this round, they pretty much win the game, in my opinion. You know, they can reset the money line. They'll be up 14. It'll probably be an eco, up 15. And the comeback's just too tough from there. So for Endpoint, if they want any chance of coming back, I mean, we keep saying it, it's got to be this round.
The control out towards banana control for Endpoint. Of course, the force of investment, alternate attacks. Ready to receive. They got players at passive positions. They won't go for the banana control, but they'll be ready towards the banana main entrance. And Crucial getting Slacks to start here, facing in the SMG of Stefan, falling back behind the smoke, and the T's are going to back off, finding that opening kill.
A good opening coming out from Crucial. And you've got to think for the alternate attack side, now, what's the game plan here? Do they want to try and allow a gamble stat to come through, or are they just going to stack the bomb sites equally? Ooh, that's a bit of information up. And now Cressy, he can't play aggressive. He needs to play passive in the site, otherwise he'll just get exposed. And they're going to gamble A. Look at the rotates coming in for the CT side.
If they win this, Endpoint. God, they'll be kicking themselves. 26 seconds, players out towards short. Cressy with his FAMAS out, seeing Thomas sprays him down, tries to transfer to the next player. Surreal will trade it. SMG next up to face it. He goes falling. M4 on site. Mighty Max dealt with. That's the bomb dropped in the open. Skrunk there with the AWP. Crucial with his own. And Skrunk doubles up. There's alternate attacks with the stack down of 5 versus 4, but they still win it. 14-6. And the buy, the money from Endpoint, it's just going to be crippled.
Every single round, Jay, that Endpoint have won, it's been singular. It has never been 2 or more rounds in a row. At least on this map. And, well, alternate attacks, they're running the double AWPs. Endpoint, they're going to be forcing the issue. 14-6 in the last map of the grand final. Alternate attacks with the run boost coming up. A little bit too far, actually, as Slacks isn't able to get a shot off.
Double AWP set up, of course, having Stefan set towards the B-bomb sites. He almost lined up 2, did not fire on time. He almost takes out Thomas. Skrunk is going to get overwhelmed, so the T-side fast players do get that much out, but the rifles in check for alternate attacks. Plenty of retake potential if they opt to go for it, but they're going to fall back and save. So Endpoint get a lifeline here. A big, big hit, a big, big kill, a big, big bomb plant, and they know that alternate attacks don't want to go for this retake, so grab what they can, fall out position. Claim 7 to the T side, but out of 8 more to go. It's still a very long way back for the UK squad.
Yeah, it certainly is, and that's a smart call coming out from alternate attacks. They realise they've got so many rounds to work with. Why waste it and destroy your own economy when you can just give them a round? Doesn't really matter. Yeah, their economy is going to be at least stronger, but in a man disadvantage, it's just no point going for the retake. And you're right, it certainly was a lifeline. They need to capitalize on that. Because you've got to think that the double AWPs, well, they're still in play in round number 22.
course, plenty saved off the back of that round there for the CT side, so into a good spot now. AWP of Slacks looking down towards that top mid position, hoping to get that opening frag. Smokes down to keep him suppressed. M4 for Mirabit takes out one, sprays through against Surreal, but Surreal to trade back to a 4 versus 4. Fortunate enough for that T side. They need to keep as much under their control here at the moment. Going passive as a result here for Endpoint.
I'm slowing it down. A 1-for-1 trade coming out through the apartments. Look how passive the B player is of Stefan. Just locked into that dark position. Not even, like a lot of the time, if you've got a triple setup on A and an AWP over at B, you might see them like around that broken wall position or the banana corner, but he is so damn passive. And that's going to allow at least Banana Control to come through without too much information. He is going to ask for a little bit of help. This is so quick, though.
Up in the back line, Flashbang comes over, he sees that first flick, takes out Thomas, refaces in, does not get Robin, so 3 versus 3 on the trades now. So we're expecting Boost to come through, the Famasel facing in from Construction, flash over, he takes out Robin, sprays through against Crucial, 18 HP, he's so low, and him and Surreal tagged up to fend off 3 very high HP CTs. They burst shots blind, almost catching Crucial for 1. Nothing will be seen here, Endpoint going passive. Surreal towards Old Grill, keeping his eyes on for the banana face, seeing a shoulder bait from Cressy. He goes down, good kill from Crucial. Scrunk left alone, 1 versus 1. That's exactly where Surreal is going to round this corner, get one simple spray down, but no. Surreal gets a 3K, keeping his team alive.
And they're alive, Jay. They're alive and they're kicking. Finally, Endpoint, they're going to be able to secure 2 rounds in a row for the first time on Inferno. And that's a good round. That's a very good post plant coming up. Things are looking very good for the attack side. They had the utility to try and keep getting those flashes in and keep peeking off the basis of it. Now, I'm not saying that this comeback's going to be doable, but you've got to go inch by inch, and we're going into round number 23. It's going to be just a half buy, an eco round coming up for the Germans. And for Endpoint, this is the opportunity to dig deep. Realize the fact that you're still in the game and that this comeback is possible.
A half buy for all attack is going to certainly concede this round, I think, to Endpoint. Of course, they got rounds to work with, so the buffer should be absolutely fine here. Minute and 10 as the AK and AWP get their eyes on. Cressy catches Mighty Max in the back of the head, though. That's a good frag to find. Surreal faced in by Mirbit. No, not like this, Endpoint. Robin and Crucial do recover back to evens will go, but quick plays in from the Deagles out here. The apartments are from the long position. Thomas spotted with the bomb, almost going down to Scrunk. He does get the frag. And now they'll grab the AKs that they dropped. Mirbit with his. Stefan towards that mid and brackets position, just grabbing it, falling away. They would have done a number of damage just by those 2 rifles recovered. Maybe it wants a bit more, though. Smoke down to the apartment. Stefan's peeking in. Are they going to go for this here?
At least looking for exit kills. Keep that economy low from the CT side. It's only a half-buy investment for you, so you know you're going to get a buyout into the next, into the 2-on-2. Look at the damage they've done, Jay.
They're a HE towards Robin's position right now. He'd be a dead man.
Yeah.
Now they get out of short here, they get out of dodge. I don't even think Robin can survive to the bomb explosion from this position. It was planted closer towards the garage wall rather than the back wall. And yeah, he goes down. 4 casualties for the T side. Alternate attacks, a half by round. That is a massive, massive round to find.
It is. They do a lot of damage. And you've got to think for Endpoint, they're holding on only just, though. 9 rounds up. 5 is a deficit. Now, even with them trying to keep the economy line low, they will be able to get a buy into round number 24. Oh, this HE. Not going to do any damage as the T's. Yeah, completely misses. Ooh, the pressure that must be on the back of Endpoint now.
Been pressure ever since the alternate attack side got to 14 or so, and admittedly, this is where Endpoint can shine sometimes. When they're on that comeback to an OT or thereabouts, where business can really pick up. They are back within 5 of the lead now. To continue the momentum, keep it going. They've got the rifles to deal with for the moment, and they know this. They're facing forward in passive, aggressive positions. Mirbit will catch Surreal off for the kill. Crucial gonna burn a 5 HP. Mighty Max does get Stefan down, and Scrunk ready and waiting. He's got several players he can line up, but Thomas predicts his position, takes him down, and you can see alternate attacks already falling out of play. They're not gonna go for this retake once again.
Okay, Jay, this is now getting very damn interesting. That was a great shot, great spam coming out from Thomas through the smoke, and well, that's going to give him double digits. And you're right, they're out of there. They can't even think about opting to go for the retake. This is getting spicy. This is now 4 rounds in a row from Endpoint. Now remember, it was 14-6 up for alternate attacks. Now double digits being found by the UK side. And I tell you what, in terms of mistakes and things like that, they've really closed up their game. They've looked very tight in these last few rounds, looking very dominant. And I'm not getting worried just yet for alternate attacks, because I often feel like it's just going to be that one round that gives them the 15th. And it is going to be a difficult comeback, considering that there really isn't a lot of rounds to work with. But you've got to think, take a tactical, you know, talk things over, just have a bit of a moment of respite to just say, right, what do we need to do to get to 16?
Orb out. Look for the first kill here from the T-side camp. It's Scrunky with the FAMAS flash in. That's Thomas dead. The transfer to spray for the smoke towards Crucial as well. And 5 on 3.5 here for alternate attacks. Brilliant start towards Banana. How to Endpoint recover from here?
Well, they've got to make an individual play. They need to be looking at a Thomas or a Surreal to be able to get an answer back. I mean, even Surreal's taken a fair bit of damage quite deep into the apartments, but this is the moments where individuals can step up. See if you can isolate a one-on-one, see if you can bring the man advantage in your favor. Now, they've got a couple of options. They can regroup together and try and execute the B bomb site, which they've found success with in the past, and it looks like that's what they're going to go for. Mighty Max is out first with the bomb. That's something to look at.
That's risky. 45 seconds to the hit, and Mighty Max going to make his way in now with the rest of the T side. FAMAS out, drops him, drops Robin. Crucial and Surreal, last 2 players left. AWP ready for the flashbang, does take him down, and Surreal doubles up, looks for a triple, not quite against Cressy, and Crucial for the bomb plant. Cressy makes his way in quick, gets the headshot, and Crucial had to risk it for that bomb plant. Unfortunately, the time was against him, the position of the CTs too close to the site. Therefore, it is map match and grand final point for alternate attacks here against Endpoint. Still 5 rounds to come back into overtime, but the loss bonuses are going to be broken. The bomb plant will just push them past the edge of a force buy, but lopsided with Surreal on a little over 3 grand. And of course, the bike could come in full for alternate attacks.
Oh my. Alternate attacks, they're so close. They're absolutely millimeters away from being able to convert this grand final into a victory. And you've got to think for Endpoint, it's not even the best of offenses that they can bring to the table. AKs across the board, a MAC-10 up for Surreal, and they need to find an opening fight. Double AWPs out into the CT side, and it's quick towards the B bombs, like quick towards Banana.
Shot missed. Scrunk looking for that opener. Banana control established, as you mentioned, from the Endpoint side, but they back off immediately. Not looking to set up utility for this. The smoke's going to siphon them off in the main positions at the broken wall, and the one going to get picked up by Surreal on a MAC-10. A MAC-10 for Endpoint's final buy, potentially here in this matchup. The AWP here for Slacks now ready to receive them from the brackets area. They have established control, but being very quiet and careful about this.
considering how quick the banana presence was coming out from the Endpoint side, alternate attacks have actually completely rotated a third player over to B. Whereas for Endpoint, they're setting themselves up for a couple of arch and library smokes. Slacks misses that first shot and needs to fall back.
Does get Robin for a good kill on the bomb. Planter Thomas to fall next. Slacks has done most of the work here. Can he get any more done? Yes, he can at point blank. 3 picks for the AWP. Crucial gets 2 to return, but Slacks gets 4. Not quite the ace. Surreal chimes in long range with his Mac 10, but it's the Mac 10 of all weapons to clutch this, and it's not going to happen. 16 to 10, and there it is. Alternate attacks win the series 2-1, become your champions of Eden Arena's Malta Vibes 2.